Hello, I'm Matt Guff from House.com. This is Jason Henderson for Burton Snowboards, and these are beginner snowboard bindings from Burton for the 2020 season. Jason, welcome back.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh, spectacular.
Good, good.
It's nice out, man. A little chill in the air.
Right? Feels like winter's around the corner. It was 61 when I woke up. A little frosty dew.
Yep. Getting a little hankering for some pumpkin spice, whatever.
Oh, and snowboard stuff. Yes. We are at the Burton Minneapolis store in Uptown Minneapolis. Jason is here walking us through the 2020 lineup. We are at the section where we talk about beginner snowboard bindings. And Burton has always done a great job of making bindings along with all the other products and categories they have. This is the Freestyle, this is the Custom, and this is the Mission. This is kind of where a lot of people start out within getting into snowboarding or maybe starting to advance a little bit more with the binding category. Where do these things overlap and where are their subtle differences?
Well, really kind of starting out, a more beginner rider, somebody that's not very aggressive, they're typically going to benefit from a softer binding.
Right.
Just because they're not riding at high speeds. And to get a board to turn, you have to make the board flex and all that. And bindings, help with that a lot. And beginner that someone that's not going very fast, they want to be able to move their feet a little bit more. They just don't want to be so confined and locked down to the board.
Right.
So, and that's kind of where the Freestyle and the Custom really come in. Because the base plate itself, the material is a lot softer. It's a polycarbonate material, so that's going to make that binding a little bit more plush, especially for even like a lighter weight rider. You got like a kind of that tweener kid, doesn't weigh very much. They don't need a really stiff binding.
Right.
As well.
I suppose there's a lot of young kids out there that are riding who don't weigh very much, who wear size men's 10, 11 boots. Yep. They may not have the weight to really forcefully move a stiffer binding where you could jump on a Freestyle or a Custom and do just fine. Yeah,
and it's not like these are, I almost hate using the word beginner.
Right.
Because people think, I'm only a beginner for a month. And then, it's like, that's not the case. Like you're going to be
softer style binding.
Softer, you're going to be able to ride these things for a long time.
Right.
So.
Actually, I have a pair of Custom. I ride a pair of Customs quite regularly.
Well, and people that advance, beyond that, some people like a softer binding. Just a softer flexing binding takes that edginess out of it. It's good for rails and whatever. Something might like that. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of power riders are kind of gravitating towards softer bindings now, almost losing
that foot roll. Right. That foot roll is very important.
Cool. Now, we have the Freestyle and the Custom and the Mission. These things pretty much have the same similarity within their base plate. The high backs are just a little bit different. There's more EVA style foam along that back side of the Custom, right? Isn't there?
Well, that's about the same, but the main difference between the two, you get a little bit nicer ankle strap, but also the high back itself. This has got certain forward lean built already in, which for beginners, having a little more forward lean can help you with, kicking out that.
Right. Lifting up that toe edge.
The heel edge, yeah. So, and you have all that adjustability here, but the main thing is the stiffness of it. There's two different materials. This is a much softer kind of urethane, style material, where this is going to be
much more rigid.
More of a nylon, so it's definitely stiffer, more rigid. So. Otherwise, very similar. All these are reflex, so they will go on any board. But what the reflex base plates do versus other companies is that it actually flexes and works with the flex of the board, versus just bolting a solid plate to the board. That really deadens the board. It doesn't allow it to flex. You don't get as good a board feel. Reflex isn't something that's an option in all of our bindings.
Right. Now the Freestyle, the Custom, and the Malavita also come in the EST style bindings too, where the mounting hardware is on the lateral and medial sides of the binding base plate that are only compatible with Burton boards that feature the channel system, or all Burton boards.
Yep. So we do have a Custom that's available in an EST. So you got two options there.
Got it.
And then the Mission is also available in EST.
So where does this one kind of fall in place alongside these two?
So this is kind of like, I guess we're saying, beginner category, with some hesitancy there. But if somebody's if somebody's a beginner but maybe they are, very athletic. They're going to advance well, or maybe they're a heavier guy.
Okay.
A bigger guy that's over 200 pounds or something like that.
Just getting into snowboarding.
Yeah, I mean they could benefit from something like a Mission. So what the Mission does, it has a totally different material in the base plate.
Right.
So it does have that 30% fiberglass reinforced nylon composite versus polycarbonate. So it is a lot stiffer, more rigid. Heavier guy's gonna benefit from that. They're not gonna overflex the binding or anything like that. So. And this binding, I kind of consider this like one of the workhorses in the binding, like best bang for the buck. This will drive any of the boards in the line, all the way up to those custom exit, cambers and stuff like that.
Right.
So
cool. Another big standout piece of tech that the Mission features that the other two don't is this mold injected ankle strap.
Yeah, you get the hammock strap. So benefit of that is you get the same comfort and performance, if not better, than a standard strap, but less material. The manufacturing process is a lot cleaner. There's no waste.
Right.
It comes off the mold trees. Any sort of extra flashing, all that gets trimmed and put in the recycling stream.
Right.
Where if there's a pattern, there's always a certain amount of waste. There's stitching, there's gluing, stuff like that. So, and these are just a lot more durable. And the way that they've engineered these, they're as comfortable, if not more comfortable.
Right.
So
and one great thing about Burton Bindings is that they have full adjustability. You can adjust the high back angle, the length of the straps. You can center them down the middle of your boots. And another cool thing about these bindings and what Burton's doing for the 2020 season, they've reduced their toe straps down to 2 different models.
Yep, totally injection molded again for just because it's a cleaner technology, it lasts longer. It works better for everybody. So it's just all injection molded. Another thing, one thing we should touch on if we're talking about beginners is like with Burton Bindings, we have this flex slider, which really helps.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so simple.
Yeah,
it's so simple.
It keeps the straps out of the way while you're getting in. So you only have to pull the toe strap in. You can set your foot in, and then then start your strap there. So.
Yeah.
So
it's if you start riding a little bit more and you have a binding that doesn't open up as easily as these do, you'll notice once you start riding a binding like this.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I don't have to move my dumb strap out of the way.
So that's really helpful there. So
yeah, these are all great bindings. The Freestyle, the Custom, the Mission, all various price points, pretty similar, a little bit softer. Again, we kind of categorize these as beginner bindings. These are just kind of soft bindings that would really benefit a beginner as they start to progress through their pipeline. And then this one again, the Mission, you can take that in a lot of different terrain, put it on a lot of different boards with a lot of different skill sets.
Yeah, and that would be like I guess that's why we kind of brought the Mission into this conversation. It's like if somebody's buying if they're like, well, I'm going to buy a beginner board, but if I'm a heavier dude and I am going to progress, and it's like you could have this binding for the rest of your life, and it'll drive any of the boards in the line. So you can if all of a sudden you're a phenom and you're boosting 20 feet out in a pipe 2 years down the road, this binding's going to do that for you. So.
Cool. Well, Jason, thanks for walking us through the lineup. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have questions about beginner style product, leave those questions below. We'll do our best to get to the answers with Jason. Check out the Freestyle, the Custom, and the Mission by selecting the link below in the description. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe to the channel there. Check out more vids there. And hopefully we'll see you guys on snow. Peace.